trouble.
Good trouble.
I got a lot of rest, even though it don't seem like it.
Okay.
This is Zanetta Wingfield, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com.
Oh,
Hey,
mercy me.
hey,
Things ain't what they used
hey,
to be.
hey.
Wow. Jason Benefield, what's going on?
Oh man, life is spectacular, wonderful. How about yourself?
You know what? I can't complain. I can't complain. You know, the old folks used to say, I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb.
I've had some cloudy days and some sleepless nights.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm good. I'm good. You know, in Harrisburg, it's beautiful outside. The sun is shining. Now, I almost went into Luther Vandross with that, but I'll let that go. The sun is shining. There's plenty of light. It's really a beautiful day. How about in your neck of the woods?
This is really, really good, really good. It's kind of brisk, you know. It's not as hot as it normally would be at this time of year, but you know,
Okay.
I'm trying to accept the new normal.
Oh, is that the new normal? Okay.
Right now it is, because I mean, even I was just in Phoenix this past weekend, yesterday actually. Um, and it was like the high was like 80 when I was there
Okay.
since Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like really, really cool.
For
It was
them, yeah.
and windy, which blew the cold wind, and it was really interesting how that really worked
I
out.
think we're experiencing that. The whole country is just different things. Really quick, let me say hello to Chris Camouflage Williams. Chris Camouflage Williams, how are you? See
Hey,
how
Chris.
Jason did that? That was all right, wasn't it? And I want to say hello to Jackie Day, my big sister, my oldest sister. Hey sis, she said, hey sis, I won't complain. Hey Jack,
Yes.
I won't complain either. I don't know what's going on here. Hey Jack, all the way from the great metropolis of Gastonia, North Carolina. Hey Jack, thank you for joining us. So, Jason,
Yeah.
how was your week?
Wow, wow. You're gonna jump right to it, huh?
Well, oh no, I do have a question for you.
What's up?
I have a question for you. So, what happens when you have an angry sheep and an upset cow?
Oh. Mm.
See, the silence is because Jason doesn't like to get it wrong. An angry sheep and an upset cow. It's just a 1 hour show.
Okay, you have to come back to me.
When you want me to tell it?
No, just come back to me.
To come back to you.
Yeah, come
Okay.
back to me. Come back to me.
No,
Just
because then they're
let
going to
me.
Google it.
I'm not going. No, my hands is up.
No, they
Hands up.
are. They
Oh,
are.
they. Okay. All right. Let me do this real quick then. Angry sheep. Uh. Bad curds.
That was good. That was good. You have two animals that are in a bad mood.
Bad mood. Oh,
That was good. You were
oh
close.
man.
You almost stole my thunder, but not quite. Almost though, not quite. Not quite.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You're getting there. You're getting there. So, how was your week? Now, can we jump right into it?
Yeah, we're gonna jump right into it now. We're gonna
Yes.
jump right into it. It was great. my sisters and I threw my father a 70th birthday party on Friday. And so I was in there. I've been in Arizona since Wednesday, just hanging out. And I wish I had more pictures than just this one. Minister Chris, if you don't mind, sir. So we threw a 70th birthday party for my father. My father's the dark-skinned gentleman in the dashiki.
Okay.
And he's really bald, like completely bald. So him wearing that fro is like a shocker, because we don't know him with hair.
Okay.
So, but that's his brother, his baby brother, my Uncle Robert. He and his other brother, both my father's brothers, flew in as a surprise for the party. He did not know that they were that he didn't even know the party was happening, but he did not even know that they were even going to be there in
Oh,
town.
wow. Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
birthday. That's amazing. Well, I guess that's why it's a surprise party. That's the whole surprise part. That's what meant he didn't know, right? I don't know. I don't know
I'm
how I
just-
do it. I just do it. I just do it.
I just did.
Well, happy birthday, Dad. I'm really glad. And that's a blessing. And a lot of people, like when I say, oh, I was talking to my mom, or something like that, a lot of people say you don't realize how blessed you are,
Mhm.
to have your parents, have both your parents or one of your parents, and so that
Mhm.
is a blessing. And for him to celebrate his 70th birthday and
75th.
75th. Oh,
Yeah,
75th.
75th.
So
Yeah.
that's even worse. So what a blessing for him to celebrate his 75th birthday, and the fact that he wore that afro and his face was just I see a little bit of your personality in there. I do see where that might be. And but happy birthday. I'm glad you got a chance to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Thank
do
you
you
so
think
much.
you'd ever move to Arizona?
I lived there for like 3 years before I moved
Oh,
to
okay.
LA. And I
Okay.
was going to get a house. Like I was in the market for a house. And I never did it. Something just drew me to come here to LA to be a part of Agape. And I did what I did. And now I'm
Okay.
doing what I'm doing. So I mean,
All
not saying I
right.
couldn't do it in Arizona, but LA
That's all right.
is.
Well, sometimes you get called to a place. So do you
Mhm.
like LA or Arizona more?
Right now I'm in love with LA.
Right now, meaning that you could possibly go somewhere else.
I don't know. Like I haven't even thought about even leaving LA at any point, which
Okay,
is
well,
interesting
don't
to
think
me.
about it. Don't think about it. We might be neighbors one day. You never know.
Hey, come on over. I've been looking for some people to come through and just show up at without calling me first and want to sit down at my dinner table and stuff. Like I miss that.
Okay, we'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind. I want to say hello to Ed. Hey, Ed. Um,
Hey, that's Wendy's friend Ed, not my friend Ed. That's
Not your
Wendy's.
friend Ed. Okay,
Right, right.
thank you for clearing that up.
I got to clear that up because I'll be like,
Yeah,
Ed, you finally made it.
as opposed to Ed didn't even come on again. That's Wendy's friend Ed and not my friend. All righty. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. Well, I had an interesting my weeks, here lately, as time, the weather's changing, seasons changing and everything. Um, Really interesting that it just seems like the weeks just fly by. And then every so
Yeah,
often I get, a weekend or I get an opportunity to do something that really just kind of, just really sort of puts a stamp on the week to say that was a good week.
yeah.
And that was yesterday. But then before I talk about what happened yesterday, I'm getting excited because as the weather changes, that means that, summer things are getting ready to start.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to my family reunion is in Birmingham this year.
Hey,
And that's
Birmingham,
my family
Alabama.
reunion. That's right, Beham. That's
Yeah.
my dad's side, the Washington Harding folks in Alabama. And so I'm thinking about going to the National African American Music Museum in Memphis while we're there. It's just 2 hours away. So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to that. And then my family, we're not having full family reunion on my mother's side, but we're going on a cruise to the Cayman Islands and Ocho Rios.
Ocho
Yes.
Rios is beautiful. Yes.
Really.
I love
Okay.
the Cayman Islands is wonderful. Ocho Rios is wonderful. Even when we took the last time we did it cruise, we even went to Jamaica. So you'll enjoy all of it.
Okay.
Wherever you go, you will enjoy it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I love spending time with my family.
Yeah,
I
same.
absolutely, I was raised, and we'll get a chance to talk about that, but I just love spending time with my family. And I've got some characters in my family, not me, but them. And so I enjoy.
Not you. That's so
Not
hard to
me.
believe that you do
Right.
not get involved in any of the shenanigans in your family.
No. I am the voice of reason. My sister Jackie is on here. She'll tell you that I am the voice of reason. Well, she might not tell you that. She might not say that, but
Put
I'll say.
Let's go, Jackie. I'm looking now. I'm waiting for your response. Is Winde the voice of reason?
And if she doesn't respond, then that means yes. So that means yes. That's just the way she communicates. That means yes. That's just how we do. Anywho,
Hilarious.
so Minister Chris, I sent you the front of the playbill. Yesterday, I went to go see, Jackie's got something to say, apparently.
Thank you so much, Jackie. You have confirmed what I know to be true.
Wait a minute, but
Ms.
you know how
Nnochirionye.
these Facebook scammers get on and they're using other people. You know how that might not even be Jackie for all we know. But at any rate, Minister Chris, can we move on, and can you cut that whole thing out of the thing? So yesterday I got a chance to go see Maria James Child's original choreo poem called Hair Story. It's called Hair Story, Reclaiming Our Crown. It's been in the theaters here in Harrisburg, and she's an excellent poet. It's been in since the 4th, so I want to say Thursday or Friday. And it was sold out. It's been sold out. I believe it's sold out again today. All week it's been sold out. So just jam-packed. An excellent director. It was directed by Ro Brady, which is another one of the poets here that's in the writer's workshop. I tell you that on Fridays. I do poetry, and I do the I hosted last week, thank you, which was a part of my week as well. Thank you to Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden in the Writer's Workshop and Life Esteem, Imani Faith Church, for giving me the opportunity to host last week. And so it was just really good, but it was directed by Ro Brady, and it was a really, really good. So you missed it if you didn't get to go today. And the fact that you're on here right now probably means that you didn't get to go to the last show, because I believe right now the last show is showing, is being performed. You missed it, but look for the book to come out, and you can still get a copy of it and get a copy of the book once the book comes out. Jackie Day says, I am not a robot. Actually, she said, I am not a robot. So I'm the voice of reason, believe it. So really quick, let's get to our family feud question, and then and especially since we've got Jackie on, we got some things to talk about. So the question, Minister Chris, can we have our family feud question? Name a country that is older than the United States. Top 1, 2, 3, 4. Top 6 answers. Top 6 answers are on the board. If you get it right, you get a blue X. If you get it wrong, you get a red X and an annoying buzzer sound. One day, I guess we'll get a real buzzer. Right now, we're just making up the buzzer, not buzzard, but the buzzer as we go. So name a country older than the United States. 6 answers on the board. And the way it works is just you can type in your answers. Feel free to yell them out if you like. It won't help us much, but feel free to yell the answers at the TV the way you do at home. I'll be like, that one was not right. Top 6 answers on the board.
China.
China. China, 1, 2, 3, 4. China is the number 4 answer. Wow. Jason off the top rope with the number 4 answer. Go, Jason.
Hey, last week I got the number 1 answer, so
You did.
I'm
You did.
doing
I know
good.
that you didn't get any of the riddles right, but so I don't know if that really matters, but you did get the number 1 answer for the Family Feud.
Oh, that's
Jackie
great.
said Iran. Ooh, big sis. Nope, Iran is not. I had a real silly joke, but I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that go. So Jason, our
Yeah.
question, because I don't want you to think that I'm silly. So our question was,
Yes.
what was the question? Oh, we were talking about children or
Yeah.
how we were raised
Yeah.
versus how children today
Yeah.
are raised, and the difference. It was kind of posed a little differently, but the difference and what we're seeing. And I think that a lot of people are having this conversation because we are seeing things that we've never really seen before coming from children. And our children are dealing with things that we didn't have to deal with. So now it's almost like in some cases, the roles are reversed because they're teaching us the things that they're learning, or we're learning as they experience it. But the roles can't be reversed when we talk about the fact that we still have to be protectors, providers, teachers. We still have to be all of those things. So what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, I know, like, I think this was like in the late 90s when the whole "you can't whoop your child" law came into play.
They have a law like that?
They have an actual literal law that you cannot whoop your child because it is considered child abuse. And
that law
anybody
apply
can
to
report
everyone?
you. I beg your pardon?
Does that law apply to everyone? Because there are some laws that don't, like I don't know, like they have a whole constitution that doesn't really include me. So
Right. Absolutely.
that part. So does that law apply to everybody?
Apparently it does, and I'll give you a case in point on that one. And I use case in point in the correct text. But
I see what you did there. I'm getting ready to write it down.
So I don't know if you remember football player Adrian Peterson that used to be the running back for the Minnesota Vikings.
He was an abuser, right?
He got arrested for whooping his child. And they actually, and because I think the baby mama saw welts on the child, that she called it in to CPS. Yeah. And so like that's an actual like you remember like how parents used to be able to whoop their children in public. I mean, there used to be
Yeah.
different things. There used to be different things that used to be able to be done that cannot be done anymore, which causes the parent to really have to shift and make a new decision on how to gain how to snatch their child without snatching them.
Jackie said, thank God my kids were older than this law.
Yeah, same, right?
Yeah.
Same.
But because don't get us wrong, our parents, they disciplined us.
Yes.
They weren't, they were obviously spiritual people because they laid hands
Yes.
with
Hey,
force.
Shando. Yes.
They laid hands, but there was a different kind of parenting that I think we grew up with because we were allowed to speak our minds, but not disrespectfully. We were encouraged to say what you want to say. It didn't change anything. Like I remember our dad giving me a chance to say something. Of course, that was your opportunity to talk yourself out of the whooping as he was pulling his belt off.
Yeah.
But the thing is that a lot of times he didn't have to. Like if you do it right one time, You don't have to do it again. So we'd be in the back seat on a, 5, 6, 10-hour road trip, and we're in the back seat. And after a while, you get tired and you don't touch me. Leave me alone. She's looking at me. And all my dad would say, his favorite line or his famous line was, let's have that noise. That was all he would say. Let's have that noise. He would never look back. He would the car didn't swerve, none of that. And it was silent like that in the car.
Let's have that noise.
And later, and I never really said it to him, and he's not with us, but I never said it, but let's have that noise really doesn't make sense, because that's like, do you want more noise? Or are you appreciating the noise? So you want it, like, let's have the noise, come on. Let's say hello to my mom, Randy Massey, which is a perfect timing. Hey,
hello.
Mom, Randy Massey in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Thank you for coming on. We are talking about how children are raised today versus how children were raised in our day, and maybe you'll add how they were raised in your day. And Jason said, which I'm going to have to check into this, but Jason said that there's a law that says you can't beat your kids. Mom, did you know that? It surely came out after, much
way
later.
after. Way after.
Yeah, way after.
Yeah, way after. I mean, you think about it too, right? Like, I think even before that, Caucasian children were being emancipated from their parents.
Yeah.
At a young age. I mean, we're talking about before 18, before 16. I think it was maybe 16.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around
they would
that
get
time
attorneys. They could get attorneys.
Yeah.
And they'd be appointed one, and and they could get emancipated. And what? Yeah, that's so. First of all, some of us were grown and still didn't get emancipation. So that was quite lofty of them to begin with. We've been asking for emancipation for centuries, dare I say, at least 4 centuries. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you're right. And it never fails, because you go places and you see kids act up in the store and I hate you, and throwing stuff, and the parent is, the mother sometimes is like, Bobby, you wait till we get home. I'm going to tell your father.
Yeah. Right.
Oh no. Listen, and she's on here, so I'm telling the truth. Randy Massey was Quick Draw McGraw. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
She could come up with something quick, and that was it. You didn't even see it coming. Didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
What does that do? What does that do for our children now? What do you think that does for our children?
That's a very good question. I believe now it becomes more like the child being able to speak their feelings and to express why they're angry or why they did what they did and things of that nature. I believe that some parents, I can even equate this to my sister, especially my sister, Sam, with my nephew, Christian. She's a little bit more open to hearing him out more, and letting him just do what he needs to do in order to express that emotion. Where before, it would be like, shut that up right now. If you keep crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. And if you don't stop that, that did sound dumb. Exactly. So, so that huge dynamic that's taking place right now allows that child to work through what's going on with them, where we get parents that are fighting umpires or other children during baseball and basketball games because they don't know how to properly express themselves or how to allow that energy to be released and to circulate into other ways. Sometimes, I got upset over the weekend because Walmart wouldn't take something back. Walmart would not take something back. Okay. Then had the audacity and the unmitigated gall to lie to me and said that they looked at the tape and that somebody else confirmed that what didn't happen happened. No, I'm sorry. What didn't happen happened, right? And so I'm like, and then they wouldn't let me see the tape. So I went straight to OJ. Not OJ, but old J. Excuse
I
me. I had
got
to
it. I caught
clarify
it.
that real
Old Jay.
quick.
Yeah, that's right.
Old J. And so, and
Hmm.
my uncle was on the phone with me and said, Jason, just walk out. And I was like, okay, I'll just walk out. And I just
What'd you
walked
do?
out.
Just clear the counter off?
No,
Oh,
oh no, there were some expletives that were used and in high
okay.
tone, in a high
Okay.
tone, because of the fact that, first of all, you wasn't even going to give me you wasn't even going to allow me to not only defend myself, but for you to even see what was already known and done, and
Right.
wouldn't call over the person that checked me out. Nothing. I mean, I got nothing until I got
Wow.
quiet.
So didn't exchange. You
Mm-mm.
still didn't get what you wanted done.
Not there. I went to another Walmart,
Oh, but you did.
about
Oh, okay. Yeah.
5 miles away, and I got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could have did. Wish I could have did right when they didn't give it to me the first time. I could have said, "Okay, I'll go to another one, and I bet you I'll get my money."
Right.
But anyway,
So
I'm just saying, I learned as an adult how to work through things where before it probably would have been some ruckus, and I would have been sitting there crisscross applesauce waiting for the police to come because I wasn't going to leave.
yes, I think that we all go through that from time to time. Because even as you said, I was going to say, send it to me, or I'll go get your money back. Don't worry. Oh, I'll go get your money back. Here's what's going to happen. Absolutely. But again, I still think that is, to an extent, I think that
Mm,
that is something that we learned, stand up for yourself. You know, we were taught like bullying was not allowed. It was never allowed, but it was handled differently.
yeah,
It was handled differently.
you fight
Jackie
back.
was, yeah, Jackie was the bully mitigator. Like bullies and when Jackie was, no, it didn't. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. But we were taught to fight back. You go back. In fact, don't come running in this house. Don't have anybody chase you in this house. Like you got to make some life decisions. Either you
Yeah,
fight or you go
yeah,
home and you got to deal with them. And
yeah.
so now I'm looking at you, I'm thinking that I don't want to deal with them. Like, have you seen my daddy? I don't want to deal with them. I'm looking at you. And I was bigger than most kids, but I just wasn't a fighter. I'm
Oh,
still,
okay.
but you don't
Okay.
want this. But I'm just saying, you don't want, here's what you don't want to do. But I'm just saying, uh, Jackie says, my children are definitely not rearing their children like we were raised. They have a little bit too much freedom of speech, in my opinion. So,
Mm,
yeah, because we didn't have that freedom. Well, then children were seen and not heard.
right. Right.
We would get to
Yeah.
our grandmother's house and all of us would be there. And we knew, like, nobody had to say, like, there was no sitting down where they were sitting. That
Right.
that did not happen. Like, they're sitting on the couch talking and I'm gonna go sit on the chair across from them. Are you kidding me? No, it would be 50, 11 of us in my grandmother's basement. And then if something happened or we started fighting or somebody got hurt because they said, oh, I can lift you up and turn you around, and then they drop you on your head and you're crying, and the bigger kids would be like, shh, no, it's okay, quit crying,
Right.
because you
Don't
didn't
cry. Don't
want,
tell ma. Don't tell auntie.
don't tell. And that made us stronger. That made us adults who now go to Walmart and say, you will give me what I want. That did. My mom
Right.
said we would send the kids back to fight and told them they better not get beat because they would get beaten with me.
That sound like my daddy told me, don't ever get off of nobody until somebody pull you off. That's what he told me. And he told me that when he came to the school and he didn't even know that I was on the other side of the door when he came in. And I said in front of the principal, I think it was, I said, Dad, he said, I said this, Dad, I did exactly what you told me. I didn't get off until somebody pulled me off.
That's good advice. Taft had a bully. And so Taft is sort of crossed between this new generation with some old school teachings.
Yeah.
Now, I swear this little boy that was picking with Taft was big. Now, Taft was almost the biggest boy in class at this time.
Okay.
But this boy, like, I think it was like maybe third or fourth grade. And this kid was so big, he was already wearing shirts with a neck side, and he must have had a mustache. But they were picking on Taft. So I told him, when you get to school tomorrow and you go to recess and they pick with you, get the biggest one and just wear him out, tire him out. Even if you don't beat him, tire him out.
Right.
You pick up something, you do whatever you have to do, you tire him out, because then they'll be like, he has heart, and the other ones will leave you alone, because the only reason that the other bullies are following him is because they're afraid of him too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so Taft told the teachers that I told him that, but he said that he didn't want to do it. He didn't think that was a good idea.
What? I wish I had that at that time.
Well,
in grammar school, because I would have been wearing some cats out for sure.
Taft was different. And I told the teacher, I said, I told him, and then he said when he did hit somebody back once, he went and he picked the biggest kid in the wrong grade. Like, he went up to a 7th grader when he was in the 5th grade. All I said was just slap the mess out of him. And I didn't say mess, but I just slapped the mess out of him. So Taft just walked up to some 7th grade kid and just slapped the mess out of him. I was like, not him. Why, why him? That wasn't the one. And he was like, he just looked like somebody I could slap. So, yeah, no, raising, I think kids are born different. Because I really did. Jason, I tried.
Yeah.
I really tried to use the same principles on Taft that were used on me.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I found both of us sitting in the principal's office.
Right.
Because I had to say, no, this is what I said. And I said it, Jackie says I wasn't a bully, but nobody was allowed to bully my siblings, or they had to see me. Oh, we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait for Jackie to get there. We couldn't wait. My sister Tina would have the neighborhood kids lined up for Jackie. Wait till my sister gets here, but not me. I wasn't a fighter. So Tina and Jackie couldn't hit the little kids because they're 6 years older than me. So they would take my hand and make a fist, and they would hold my hand and make me hit. But I wouldn't even look. So I'd be looking away and they'd be taking my hand. Hit them, Wendy. And they'd be holding my hand. I'd be like, no, I don't want to. That's what's wrong with me now. And that, Jason, is why I am the voice of reason.
And that's why you're the voice of reason, because you had
no shenanigans over here.
You were being manipulated.
Yes,
and you weren't really doing it.
Yes, I am one with the universe. Yes, but
that you are. I'm not going to dispute that yet. I still have a hard time believing that there was no shenaniganery in your life.
When I was a kid, sure. Things I used to do, I don't do no more. Jackie said, oh, don't start, Jackie. Jackie said, all my life I had to fight. And she said it just like that.
I love that line.
I had to fight.
That
is my favorite. And we apparently, as a part of Family Shenanigans, we all know the movie by heart, but that's another podcast.
Absolutely.
Everything in life has a color purpleism to it. So go ahead.
My other line is every night I gotta fight just to prove my love.
Is that the same movie?
Nope.
I was gonna say that they didn't say that in The Color Purple.
No, they didn't say Color Purple, but that's my other line though.
Is that Harlem Nights?
Nope.
What's that?
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
Oh, The 5 Heartbeats. Oh, okay. I was like, please, Lord, let that be right. Don't take my card this time. Let that be right. Anyway, that is The Color Purple is absolutely my favorite
Classic. Classic. Are you
You
gonna watch
can't.
the new one when it come out?
No. Is it gonna? If there's a new book, but if there's not a new book, then I don't think I should watch the new movie.
Well, I
Why
mean, it's
would
gonna
you
be based on
change
the
it?
play, ain't it?
Well, the play should be based on the book, and the book should be, you know, like, why would you? You can't do that.
Come on, they
You can't.
remade Still Magnolias. How come they can't remake?
They should have remade Still Magnolias. I'm thinking that they still should do it one more time. You could call it Wooden Daisies if you want to. I'm just saying that I think they might want to do it one more time. That's all. Just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know.
Or you
So
should have just been the caster to pick better actresses for that one.
yes, they need to call me, but it would have been totally different. It would have been a totally different movie anyway. I mean, it was an okay movie for then, and
Yeah.
for what we, you know, for what we had then,
Yeah.
but we've evolved.
Yeah. For sure.
We've evolved.
For sure.
And, you know, and this is totally off subject, but I think that nobody else could be Seeley but Whoopi Goldberg. You know, there can't be another Mr. Like, who else would be Mr.? I can't even, it's not even believable.
Omar Hardwick. Is that his name? Omar Hardwick?
Oh no, he can't be Mr. He could be Mr.'s father.
Oh, that would be classic.
That gal come in here and talk to you at your own table. I think they need to call us. I think that, because, you know, now what if, just imagine.
Okay.
What if they got Jill Scott to play Sophia?
Oh yes.
Now I love Jill Scott, but she's the same, you know.
Every movie.
And in every movie, like, this popcorn is burnt. Like everything, it doesn't matter what scene you give her, she's gonna start sweating on her upper lip, and she's gonna do that. I had to put it in the microwave. Yeah, come on. See, you can't. It's gotta be Oprah.
Okay, Jill Scott had the #1 women's detective agency on Showtime, which was pretty good. And she was on Black Lightning. She was pretty good there too. She had different characters.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying though. She do play the same character in movies though, for sure.
And Gabrielle Union could be Squeaky, because but Gabrielle Union's the same person too.
Yeah, the evil one, always mean. Yeah,
mean girl. She's always the mean girl. So
always
I just don't think that they should recast. I think when you have a classic, you should leave it alone. The only time something that we thought was a classic got better was when The Wizard of Oz became The Wiz. Now you got to leave it alone.
Hands down. Yeah. Nobody can beat The Wiz.
Nobody. See, that's what I mean.
Perfect.
But had The Wiz come first, you wouldn't need The Wizard of Oz, because The Wiz was perfect.
Right.
Same thing with The Color Purple.
Yeah.
You don't need another one.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
think
this is for the newer generation.
Okay, so back to what we were saying. The problem is that we create things, we reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
And it's already been invented. We already had, I mean, not that everyone has the parenting thing down, because there's no such thing. But I think
absolutely not.
That there was a pretty good start. But now we're reinventing the wheel. Like Jackie said, a little too much freedom of speech. Like I said, we could say what we wanted to say, but it didn't change anything. And most of the time we'd be like, well, let me just tell you what happened. You know, it didn't work. You already knew what was coming. But you did have that few seconds, sort of like when you get pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
You have from the time they put their cap on in the car to the time they tap the back of your car to come up with a good story of why you did whatever you were doing. If you don't have your story when they tap the back of your car, which is really them putting their fingerprints on your car.
Right.
If you don't have your story together, just don't say anything and apologize. Take it and go. Hope you get to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hope you get to go is the truth. So
Yeah.
much the truth.
So
Yeah.
as a kid, you had from the time they said, I'm about to tear you up, to the time they chose which belt they were going to use. You better
Or to
start
switch
thinking.
off the tree. Don't forget to
Yeah, I
switch off
only
the
got
tree.
to switch one time.
Yeah, it sucks. We had
No,
these
one.
rubbery joints.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. We had this tree that had these rubbery, man. All you gotta do is just put two, and he go like this, and all the leaves come off all at one time when you pull it back.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's what
hated
my
that
Aunt
tree. I
Sophie
cut
did.
that tree down.
See. Wow, that's a little dramatic. I just cut the whole tree
I
down.
cut the whole tree down. That tree was
That is
gone.
funny. That is funny. My mom said not in Grammys. Not in Grammys what, Mom? Not having freedom of speech? Because no, we absolutely did not have freedom of
Mm,
speech in my grandmother's house. But
mm,
no, I didn't, I never learned the art of switches.
mm,
But when we would go to South Carolina for the summer every year, and my Aunt Sophie, one time she had us all lined up in the backyard, and
mm.
she walked over and she snapped it off, and then she pulled it through like this, so all the
Ye-
leaves came off. But when
Yes.
they came off at the end, they made like a flower design, and she looked at it and she said, and then threw it. And then she said, I'm gonna tear every one of y'all tails up. And so I was like, Aunt Sophie, what you want? And I said, my mom and daddy don't whip us with branches. And so she said, and you gonna be first. And and it was making that noise. It was like, pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
After that, I never crossed those tracks again. Didn't go to the candy lady's house because she sold candy out her kitchen window.
Ooh,
Never did
ooh.
that again.
How cool
That
is
one
that?
time. Now, my brother and my cousins, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's why I said the shenanigans of my family. They would do stuff and they knew what was going to happen.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, don't you know that Aunt Sophie carries a switch to church with her? I mean, she
Ooh.
would have it in her purse.
In church?
Oh, she's the usher. She'd have her white gloves on, the fans, the programs, and that switch. Honestly,
And she was the one that held that door so tight when people couldn't get in during prayer. You be like ring on that door and she don't budge, and you be pulling that door all hard and that door don't move either. Man, I experienced that a couple times, man. I said I'd never come in again late. I know that much.
I guess that would be her. I guess that would be my aunt, but she sure did. And then we graduated because then remember that game was the paddle ball, wood paddle with the string and the ball on it.
Yeah.
Then when you break the string off, they would throw the paddle away. They would keep
No.
that because then it fit right down in their purse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, they had a ping pong paddle. If you want to
Yeah.
know what we're talking about, basically,
Yeah.
it was a ping pong paddle without the tape on the handle. That's
Right.
what it was.
And without the padding.
And without the padding, that's true.
And without the padding.
So would the
Paint
padding have
stick.
made a difference?
Nah, because the padding was just as hard.
It is so thin. Yeah. It just
Yeah.
would leave that little print, that little imprint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See. So kids nowadays have no understanding of that. But
Right.
now, here was the other question.
Mhm.
How has that changed children today and how they see themselves
Mhm.
and how they see their peers versus how we saw ourselves and how we saw our peers?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm gonna answer the second part first. I always thought that my parents were always angry.
Okay.
Like they had anger issues, and that, and like for me, even now, I know and understand how anger feels in my body when it comes up, when it
Okay.
arises, and even when I like boil up and I say something, I know how that feels. And so
Sure.
that like if they always wanted to feel that way, God bless them. But I know I don't,
Right. Right.
so that's how I looked at it at that time. Like, how could you be so angry and so mad every time, almost every time? What is it? And then today, I believe like how children are today. I believe now, like even like when they had the walkout a couple years ago, and none of the children, like a whole lot of children, didn't go to school because of the shooting, one of the mass shootings that took place. I don't know if you
Sure.
remember that, because Dr. Martin Luther King's granddaughter spoke at that that event that they had. I can't
Mhm.
remember where all that took place, but you know, I think about that, where they all came together in one place to say, listen, can y'all
Yeah.
please change the laws so that we could be safe where we're supposed to
Yeah.
be safe?
Yes.
You know, and I think them speaking up more is starting to, and like even when I did the poetry thing last week
Hmm.
or the week before, it, same thing. Like, if you don't hear what's actually happening, because there's a lot of hush hush. There was
Right.
so much hush hush because they were either afraid that their parents would get killed by the person or they would get killed. And so they weren't able to speak up because they didn't know that they had the confidence to speak up.
Well, so two things when you say that. So when you go back, like if you go back to the civil rights,
Yes.
and you go back to the civil rights, and what I didn't know until last summer when I took the civil rights tour with the thriving congregations, thriving communities, congregations against or congregations for social justice. What I didn't know that a lot of the movements were started by young people.
Yeah.
And when you see, I didn't know that like in Birmingham and things like that, Montgomery, when you see where they turn the water hose on
Yeah.
them, those were young people. Those weren't the
Yeah.
parents. The
Right.
parents, because Martin Luther King, he went to Birmingham and they called him and said, we need help. And
Yeah.
so he went to Birmingham and he said, we've got to, here's what we got to do. We've got to be willing to protest, but that means you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
And we need to flood the jails to where they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And if you flood the jails, this is what's going to happen. So I need to know who's willing to go to jail.
Yeah.
None of the adults stood up because
Right.
that meant that they could lose their jobs, they could lose their homes, they could lose their families. The
Yeah.
young people stood up. So it was on a given day, that set day, the young people, it was planned. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he sent people to train them in nonviolence and things like that. And then they had a date you set that they were going to get up and walk out. That across like Birmingham, Montgomery, all throughout the South. That day they got up and walked out.
Yeah.
So that confidence was there.
Okay.
It was there. Now I wouldn't have, I don't think I would have done it. And probably because I was taught, I mean, in as much as we were given a voice, I was taught to be seen and not heard. And my parents didn't share, they didn't tell us the danger that really stood out there for us. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell us, they protected us from it. They shielded us from all of that. So now, children nowadays, I can't shield Taft from what's happening. In
It's
fact,
everywhere.
I'd be foolish to let him think that everybody loves you. I thought everybody
Right.
loved us. It was,
Right.
like, in as much as we were pretty much always the only African-American family where we lived and where we went to school. If someone didn't like us, you could rest and believe that Randy and Bill showed up at school.
Yeah.
They were at that school. I paint Santa Claus or color Santa Claus black. My father was like, her Santa Claus is black. I
Right.
come to school show and tell with a black baby doll. And they were like, look, her dolls are black. The Easter Bunny is black. The Tooth Fairy is black. The only one not black in our house was the boogeyman. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody else was black. And so we were shielded from that. But
Yeah.
I can't shield Taft from that. I can't, like we can't shield our children from that. So our children don't have the innocence
Yeah.
that, that we had.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't even, it's interesting. You call it innocence because I don't even know what that means, because my father had me at a militant status at a young age. Okay. I mean, even though I went to a predominantly Caucasian school growing up, middle school, high school, my father was just like, don't trust him. Because he's from Bessemer, Alabama, in the time of the colored fountains and stuff like that,
Sure.
and colored bathrooms and stuff, So he grew up at that time, you know, and so he carried that with him and he imposed that on me. And being in a predominantly Caucasian school with only a few people of African descent, I got jumped a lot by the people of African descent in the school.
Wait a minute. The people of African descent jumped you?
Yes, in a predominantly Caucasian school. Because I was speaking up for our rights. You know, I wanted us to be
Okay.
unified, have our rights, do what we need to do, this and that. And they were like,
Okay.
we like the girls.
Wow. Wow.
And they did too. And them girls was all over them.
Over the Caucasian students?
The Caucasian girls was all over the black
Of
black
course.
kid. Yeah.
Of course. And that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother show. And you know, I gotta say this though. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him because there's nothing better. You know what I'm saying? There is nothing better. In my opinion, there's just nothing better. And so I'm mad at you. If I give you a rock or a piece of gold, which one are you gonna take? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna take gold. You're gonna go where the diamond is. You're gonna go where the platinum is. You're not gonna go with this piece of mulch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not calling anyone a piece of mulch. I'm just trying to make a point here. But I'm just saying that I don't blame him. That's not where my issue is. My mother said cross burning in our yard. We did have a cross burned in our yard. And you won't believe, if all the places that we lived growing up, you won't believe where the cross was burned in our yard.
Buffalo.
Orchard Park, New York. Orchard Park.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I mean, I believe it, but like, really?
Yeah. My dad was out of town for work. He was traveling for work. My mom was doing my hair. So of course I was sitting on the floor and she was sitting on the chair on the couch.
Right.
It was
Absolutely.
the position for those of you that need to know. And Orchard Park is, for those who don't know, Orchard Park is a suburb of Buffalo, and it happens to be where the Buffalo Bills Stadium is. And so we lived right there. For those of you who want to know, we lived right there on Benzing Lane, which is that first street past the stadium. So anyway, I want to say 30.
So you were in the Hick area then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were in the Hick area. So then that makes even more sense.
Yeah, we were right there.
Yeah, okay. So you weren't
but,
in the,
I mean,
you weren't
come on,
like
but the Buffalo Bills, the Bills, you know, like all of the, like really, they love the Bills. So why wouldn't they, you know, there's Black families and things like that are there that they love. So, you know, why? But my mom was doing my hair and she said, get up and go get this. When I went to go get it, I came back by and the windows or the curtains weren't open, but I could see out of, you know, I could see through something through the curtains that was flashy light and whatever. And I was like, there's a fire outside. And my mom said, I think she said, go in your room or do something, get down or something. And all I know is there was a shotgun or a rifle or something. And she was at the door and she was not playing. She was not playing. Needless to say, I think they said it was just some kids in the neighborhood playing around. Right, Mom? They said it was just some kids probably playing around the neighborhood. And she was like, well, you know, she was like, that'll get you, you know, 5 will get you 10.
6 feet deep.
That's it.
Yeah,
so
immediately. But
when you experience that, it does change your outlook. And then you go back to that, don't trust anybody, you know, because now you brought it to my house. Now you came to my house. And so if she goes to school and the teachers are, you know, like that, that's different. But now you came to my house. It doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work like that. So yeah. And I guess that experience, I didn't think about that, but that experience does make me, you know, leery of trusting certain things. I have to lean into my, you know, on my intuition and intellect and what I know, you know, that if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, then either it's a duck or somebody's trying to fool me, you know.
Right.
And so you've got to pay attention to that. But I think that our young people, I get what you're saying, that, you know, you don't see it as as innocent. I mean, we were militant, but we were protected.
Yeah.
You know, my parents were militant. My parents were, you know, community advocates and you know, definitely supporters of civil rights and things like that. And so we had to read the books and learn the stories. And even in the 7th grade, we had to memorize Robert Frost, The American Dream. And it says something like, you know, flowing golden hair and, you know, white, snowy, you know, pillow top mountains. And my dad was like, okay, you're going to memorize that, but that's not the one you're going to learn. So I had to learn A Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes.
Ooh, Langston Hughes, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
whenever they come with one thing, my dad would say, you're going to do that, but you have to do this too. So that it applied, you know, it applied to me. And I've done the same thing with Taft, which I think has made him a different child than most. So he probably didn't really, you know, jam too much with the other kids, but how else would we prepare our children? You know, how else do we prepare them?
Yeah.
So what do you say? What is your suggestion, advice? What needs, we're running out of time. And I think this is a great conversation that we'll have to revisit. But so what would you say? What's next for our children? What should we do?
You know, I believe like the more that they know about history, the more they know about what issues to really stand for, and then also to know how to stand for them, what it would take to do so. And so I believe like the more and more that we allow them to work through their emotions for them to learn, they'll be more equipped on how to be more stealth and handling life as they get older. And then it becomes a little bit more of for lack of a better term at this time, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, where the mind games are taking place, opposed to so much where it's like you can see it outwardly. They'll be coming like ninjas, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a lot of work to do for our young people. We got a lot of work to do in the community as, you know, as leaders in our respective communities. We've got work to do, and we've got parents out there who just don't know, you know, at the same time, they just don't know. So we've got much to do, but what we've also got is about 2 minutes left. So really quick, we didn't really get very many answers on the countries that are older than the United States. I forgot to remind everyone. It says country older than the United States. Number 1 was England. England was number 1. Number 2, France. 3 was Spain. 4, Jason got, was China. 5 was Germany. And 6 was Ireland. Interestingly, none of these countries are on the continent of Africa. Just wondering, which 100 people did you ask that question?
Yes, again.
Yeah, once again. I'm gonna call Steve Harvey and I'm gonna talk to him about this. These questions, you know, come on, do something, man. Or just say who you asked. Then we'll know how to answer. We'll know how to answer.
Yeah. Hey, make sure you listen to Viola Davis's biography.
Okay, Viola Davis's biography. I'm on it.
Make sure you listen to that joint, and you'll know why I'm asking you to listen to it. But anyway.
Okay.
Because of our conversation today.
Okay. So also I want to remind everyone, Minister Chris, do you have that flyer for the Mother's Day event on Saturday, May 13th from 2 to 6 p.m. At the PA Council of Churches at 900 South Arlington Avenue, a pre-Mother's Day celebration presented by Nathaniel Gaston's Writer's Workshop and Life Esteem Incorporated. It is free. Say it again for the people in the back. It is free to the public. There will be free activities, paint and sip, bingo, karaoke, poetry readings. Hello, I'll be there. Giveaways, trivia, music, and entertainment. a vendor's marketplace. Hello, I'll be there too. Free food and drinks and more information. Nathaniel Gadsden's information is there. Come on, guys. You know, we always talk about what's not happening in our place, in our city or whatever. This is something that's happening. We'll be there and it's free to the public. I want to say a special thank you to Minister Chris Thomas and the Voice 17104. And listen, if you have an idea for a show and you want to have a podcast of your own, that cool guy right there, that's the one, Mr. Chris Thomas. Dapper, but what was it? What was it that you were, Chris Taft and I, was it?
The station steward.
Station steward extraordinaire, that's it, station steward extraordinaire. So you want to see Minister Chris Thomas, the station steward extraordinaire, and tell him that Winde and Jason and Taft in his absence sent you. And we will see you next week. And hey guys, just remember that just because it happened back then doesn't mean it's not good now. No need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is already round and it's already rolling and it worked. Jason, you got anything real quick?
Hey, just live your life beautifully and wonderfully, because that's what you created to do.
Right. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
All things ain't what they used to be. No, when it all the blue skies go, poison is the wind that blows from the northwest side.
Happy birthday.
Mercy me.